$20 from Ombre. Thank you, man. When a man invests in a date and initial representation to try to impress a woman, at some point he will be looking for an investment from her side as well. The most common is box, but women have learned to leverage it. That is true that they have. When some women are really, what bothers me a lot is whenever you see these girls with like 10, 12 bodies, and or just fucking just anything that's more than like the guy who only has one or two, because that is literally just as bad as like a 50-year-old being with an 18-year-old, like a 50-year-old guy with an 18-year-old girl, because the experience is absolutely dramatic. And it's the same for like when she has that much sexual experience and she's experienced that many men and she knows how men think and she knows how to leverage sex and she knows how to do all those type of social skills that the man has not even experienced yet, bro, that shit. And that's happening all day today. There's so many girls that are choosing those guys and because he's nice or he's respectful or whatever, and they're just running game on it, like taking full advantage of his ass.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Regarding that for Esmeralda.
Yeah.
So for all these guys that you have that are your potential suitors, are you holding out on possibly wanting to choose one guy out of them because you know you have the leverage and that they're kind of like they need you pretty much?
No, I wouldn't say I'm holding out for that reason. I'd say I'm holding out because I'm just not sure who's very serious and who's trying to use me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a follow-up question with that. I know earlier you said that you're looking for a guy that makes at least 100K. If you're dating guys around your age at 23, 24, 25, how many of those guys you actually think are actually making that kind of money?
Oh, very few of them.
Very few, or any at all?
Maybe one.
Maybe
two.
one?
Yeah.
Or two. Like realistically making that money, not because you think like he's peacocking you.
No, like realistically, yeah.
Okay.
Like he told you he was an engineer or something. Like
yeah,
like he's a drug dealer.
I don't date drug dealers, that's for sure.
That's good. She's making wise choices. Who do you what does it mean when you ask a girl for her number and she says she can't give it out, but she can't give you her number, but she will take your number?
Oh, that means she's probably not interested.
If she just is asking for your number?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh, maybe she is. She might text you. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I've always thought that was just super weird whenever a girl does that. I think that means that like she's talking to somebody, but she still wants your information because for just in case.
It could mean that.
Like a backup plan, kind of.
Yeah.
Like if this guy falls through, like I still want your number.
Yeah.
So I could text you afterwards.
Yeah, it could definitely be that.
Fucking bitches. Do you think it's hard to respect a man that was easy for you to get?
No, I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it because you're like, I'm hot? Like,
yeah, exactly.
He better be chasing me like this.
Yeah, he better be.
Oh, I for some reason I feel like girls really like it when you're like a struggle. As a guy, you're a struggle to get, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, has there been some guys that you like really, really wanted, like you really fought for, kind of, and like it felt like you won a reward almost because you got it?
Not really. I don't really. No,
you're like, there's nothing to achieve from that.
Yeah.
Would you let your son marry a girl with a 500 body count?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'd hope as long as they're safe.
You would let him marry a girl with a 500 body count?
I don't know. I don't know if I would even want to know that information.
But come on, I've really got to know. Like, you would be okay with that?
I would just want my son to be happy. If he's happy, I'm definitely happy for him.
You wouldn't.
Hey, hell no.
You wouldn't for your own son be like, look, son, I'm a woman. 500's a lot.
And he's a man, and he has his own judgment. He knows. He should know.
He could mess up his whole life, and you would let him do that?
How would he mess up? Well,
I'm just saying. Do you think a woman with a 500 body count is a good person?
No, I would be a little bit worried that she would cheat on him or something.
Yeah, it's not even like I'm worried, like saying that the 500 bodies is bad. It's just like it's like whenever you go for a job interview, you know, like if they see that you had like 8 jobs in the last 8 years and each one you jump to like every year, something like, you know how like the employer would be like, you know what, like why is it like this, like what happened here, you know, like you would judge them for it. Like you get judged for your past. Like that's just the way it is. Like I would expect you to judge a guy if he had a history of domestic violence. You know what I'm saying? Like would you to flip the question around? If your daughter, like was about to marry a guy who had 4 domestic violence charges in his past, you know, but he doesn't do it at all anymore. He has no. He hasn't. He's been going to therapy. He doesn't do that at all anymore. Would you still want her to marry that guy?
Absolutely not.
Exactly.
But those two things are not relatable. One is for enjoyment and one's violence.
Well, I'm just saying past matters.
Not,
I'm just saying past. At the end of the day, like the past matters. Even though really past matters a lot for a woman, but for a guy, sometimes the past just makes him better. Like a lot of women think it's more sexy the more bullshit he's gone through. Like trauma is one of the things that makes a guy the most masculine. Is him going through a bunch of bullshit and breaking through all of it. Like that's what makes you a badass.
Definitely standing up to it.
Yeah,
coming out stronger.
It's the hardest thing to do. I think that's actually what makes a man. And the problem today, that's another thing that's the problem today. No guys are men because they're not going through any trauma. They're not going through any trouble. We live in the most privileged time in the most privileged country in the world. Like, obviously, there's going to be that's if you want to know why the woke shit is as bad as it is, why everybody's doing all the gender stuff and everything, we're so privileged. If we went back, if a nuclear holocaust happened right now and we all went back to the fucking Stone Age because of some bullshit, trust me, none of that shit would matter at all anymore. It is such a privilege to give a fuck about your genitals. It is such a privilege. Like, it's insane that people think that, like, this is something that we've always, no, it's a privilege, something that you're very lucky to be able to even experience, to have the surgery and to do all this shit. It's the same with like women with birth control and like having abortion and stuff. That privilege like gives, like, with immense power comes immense responsibility. And when we got the power to be able to cut things out, you know, a child, or like the power to stop a birth, like when we got the power to do those things, we had an incredible responsibility that we squandered, that we said, fuck it, let's just make money with this as much as we can. Let's do let's see what we can do with this, you know, and end up just fucking everything up, fucked up the nuclear family.
You're so right. I agree
100%. Whenever you do get married and stuff, like back to like a nuclear family, like do you want to be a traditional, like you make good money, do you want the traditional household where you're like stay-at-home wife, or you do want to do like the household where you are both working full-time and like you kind of have nannies and like stuff like that? Like what do you want to do?
I think I'd love to be a stay-at-home wife. You know, one of my pleasures in life is definitely cooking for my family, cleaning my home, you know, doing all the traditional things a wife would do. But I also need some type of job, some type of purpose in my life. So I'll have to be doing something, whether that's part-time and whether it's my own business or creative avenues, depends. But
do you think like you can have a purpose like that, you know, like have like a creative outlet that's, I don't know, just any type of hustle, you know, if you do that 10, 15 hours a week, it makes a little bit of money maybe for y'all's groceries or something like that, but then like you're mostly with the kid? Or do you mean like a full-time, like I got to work 30, 40 hours a week and have like a whole different purpose kind of thing?
I definitely want to be with my kids the majority of the time.
Just more like a little side hustle thing that you want to do. Okay. No, because I always like to say, like, if we look at studies and stuff, like the main purpose for most women usually ends up being that they really like the family thing, you know. So like I think it's great to have a side hustle though, because you need to have something else that you're fucking doing, or else you're gonna lose your mind. Like you're not gonna have anything else.
Hey y'all, Sergio here. I just want to mention I've created a completely free guide that shows you exactly how I went from having low confidence and being painfully awkward around women to easily meeting and dating numerous high quality desirable women in real life without the use of any dating apps or social media. So if you're struggling to get out there, if you have approach anxiety or don't know what to say or how to interact with women to make them want you, and are sick of using dating apps with low value girls that hundreds of other guys have been chatting with, click the link in the description below to grab your free guide right now. And if you want private mentorship with me personally to help guide you every step of the way in this process, check out my mentorship program in the description too. I would be happy to help you reach your dating goals and overcome any obstacle you may face. And trust me, if I can do it, you can do it too. I hope to see you soon. Peace out.